Hey everybody, welcome to Landscape Rescue. My name's Stuart Moore, and today we are at the Lowe's in Republic, Missouri, and we're gonna do a shopping video. Look at all of these petunia hybrids. Man, looking good. Now, they've got some smaller containers here. Should I get one that's blooming? Maybe. Look at these guys. They got these smaller containers, and they are trying their hardest to keep these things moist. We've got another week of rain coming, so one solid week of rain. It's heading our way for $6. Not necessarily a spectacular deal, but I like the smaller ones so I can put them in pots and they do all right. I'm not much of a container gardener, but I know a lot of you guys are. Lowe's has got these smaller ones for $6, and you might only need one or two per pot because they grow very, very well. They're in that little tiny pot. They've got the larger ones for $9.98. I like annuals, and I really like wave petunias in the landscape. I don't necessarily always have to put them in a pot. My main issue is just staying consistent with the food. I'm a very lazy gardener, so I'm a very fire and forget. I like to water, I like to feed, but I like it on my schedule. So that's why I use slow release fertilizer. And I feel like petunias in general like a liquid fertilizer consistently. So every week they're being fed. And then we don't have a problem watering consistently because of the setup that we have at our house. But the food, sometimes I would just rather do the slow release, and they don't really do as well, but they are heavy feeders, so keep that in mind. I missed this Saturday. And we really should just go over to the clearance rack. Let's stop all the silliness. Let's just go to the clearance rack. This weekend, I was making videos all weekend and did not shoot up here to look at the clearance. That's my fault. That's me being silly. I should have done it. And I haven't been to this one in a couple weeks. All right, here we are. Here we are in the clearance dungeon. Just do a quick walk around. Everybody relax. Just need you to relax for a second. Got some New Guinea impatiens here. Let's look at these. This is Magnum Lavender Splash. Normally $9.98, so that's gonna take us into that $4 range. And I like that because they have a lot of them. They don't look bad. They look like New Guinea impatiens that haven't been watered in a while, right? But it's New Guinea impatient, so I would take the risk on something like this. I might set this one to the side and get a count, and then take 3 flats of beat up looking New Guinea impatiens up to a manager and ask if I can get them for like $1 a piece. And then they're all coming home with me, because I can definitely use New Guineas. Now that I've opened up that bed a little bit, some verbena that's in pretty good shape. It's actually starting to want to bloom again. The soil's nice and moist. Lanai, upright twister, watercolor verbena. Let's take a look at that. Oh, not gonna work for me. It is an annual for sure. 20 to 30 degree tolerance. That will not work for me, but I feel like when we walked by here earlier, I saw some verbena. Yes, right here, verbena. Just generic verbena. There's no variety, it's just verbena. Very simple, easy for a guy like me to understand. It's only hardy to 32 degrees. Ooh, look at this. Scent First, Coconut Surprise Dianthus. Now we've seen this and talked about it this year already once. There is nothing wrong with this plant. It just needs to be trimmed back to get the deadheaded, essentially. All you gotta do is deadhead it. Now they're normally $6.98, so they're gonna be $4 a piece. Seems like a really, really good deal to pass up. And they have 1, 2, 3, so they have 9. They have 9 that I can see right now. That's a pretty good deal. Here's some Gaillardia, Arizona Apricot, and then they have Arizona Red. Just another plant that's just hard to kill with diesel fuel. It's a good one. And this one is gonna be $4 also. Looks like they got a lot of them. Yeah, a little disappointed about that verbena, but it is what it is. Looks like there's some coleus over here. These little, we've passed on these before. They're $1.98 for these little guys. But here's something neat. Not that I'm necessarily into houseplants or succulents, but some of you guys are. Look at this little tiny guy. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that botanical name. I have not been exposed to succulents botanical names. We're not even going to try it. We're not even going to try it. Not on the internet. We're not trying it on the internet. I can promise you that. But that was kind of cute. $2. Look, they've got some more little, I almost feel like the clearance section for succulents and stuff should be inside. That would be nice. But look at that little tiny guy. So these would be $1 a piece. So anything less than $2 is $1. So 50% off. There's a bunch of succulents in here. There's a little guy right here for $1 a piece. Not a bad deal. Here's another little one right here. Cute. Those are cute. There's quite the amount of clearance shoppers today. This is a Monrovia. This Magnum Lavender Splash would be nice. Would be nice to fill that area up with some annuals so I don't got to worry about too much finagling next year and moving things. I could just, fill that up. It is early when it comes to clearance. What do we say? June is the time to really start focusing on clearance. Now we've got some good deals already this year. I've been more prevalent. Usually, like Walmart's, for instance, I like to focus on Walmart's and make sure I swing by and catch some deals, because I've gotten some really decent climbing roses in June because I was just there often enough. We're going to take another look around. Here's some daylilies that would be nice. Oh, geez Louise, these names by Zinni? What in the world? It looks really pretty in the picture. Byzantine, Emperor Daylily. Looks very cool, but not anything crazy, like not crazy cool, but cool. Pink with a yellow throat. We'll throw a slide up there so you guys can take a look at that. Definitely hardy in my zone, -30 to -40, so it's a daylily for sure. I just kind of wonder how are we going to bloom? Doesn't appear to have the kind of growth like a Stella. Doesn't give me that impression. Or Happy Returns. Not a whole lot of stuff in the regular area. Maybe the clearance rack is cleared out a little bit. We'll take a look. There's a diehard over here. She's really taking this seriously. Coreopsis. Sunfire Coropsis. Looks a little banged up. It's not going to be anything that we can't overcome with the amount of year that we have left. It's still very healthy. I think it just got some leaf scorch. Sometimes this will happen after it comes off of a semi in, these semis are 50 degrees or somewhere around there. Very, very cool. 45, 50 degrees, somewhere around there. They come off of the semi on the racks and then immediately go out into 95-degree full sun. They don't have a chance to acclimate and it'll sizzle them a little bit, but for $4, I mean, it's worth taking the risk. Now, Sunfire Coropsis, I don't think, about Coreopsis size, 18 to 20 inches tall, 20 to 22 inches wide, and good from -20 to -30. So very reminiscent of a Coreopsis that's not a thread-leafed Coreopsis. They all kind of look very similar. So we've got a couple good possibilities. We've got potential for the New Guinea impatiens. We've got an opportunity for a lot of dianthus. And it's just kind of a matter of what do I want to put in that area, because they're both the same price, right? So reasonable deduction tells us maybe we should go with the perennials. I'm not really going to get a whole lot of bang for my buck out of those this year. That'll be a next year thing. But they will be blooming at the same time as my East Friesland salvia. It might be nice to have some white and purple contrast right up there in the front of the bed, with the East Friesland popping behind, dianthus popping up front. It might be pretty cute. I don't know why I even show up to the clearance rack without a cart. Let me go get a cart. Got to call in to one of the managers. With any luck, it's not going to take very long. He'll come out and then I will see what we can do about all of those dianthus. And in addition to that, if I can get a good deal, then I'll take the dianthus and the New Guinea impatiens. And then we will just see where to put them, because I don't know if he pulls a deal. But I mean, if he can cut them in half again and we're at $2 a piece, I'll just take all of them. If he can't, then I'll just stick with one or the other, because I'm buying them for $4. It's still a really good deal, but when you're broke and you don't want to dip into your Mountain Dew coffers, then You know, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I have no pride, so I have zero. All right, I'm gonna organize some stuff and on a cart so it's easy for him to look at. And there we go, we'll get back to it. All right, everybody. That was a fantastic interaction. I got to meet the new management team. Some of you are aware, I've been gone for a little while, 2 years, and I haven't really met the new folks. I got to meet the new management team. They were both awesome. I'm super impressed. Very personable guys, local guys. I mean, without going too much on a tangent, and I'm sure if you've read the comments, you know my stance on this. I consider Lowe's a local garden center. It's your local garden center. There's other local garden centers that aren't publicly traded on the open market, right? Like Lowe's is, but they're still a local garden center, just like this is a local garden center filled with local employees. The great thing about it is you meet them and then and they're this cool and they're this nice and they're this personable, you can't help but defend them when people say, I'll never shop at Lowe's. I'm only gonna shop at these mom and pop places. When I've worked at the mom and pop places and I've seen what the employees get paid, I've seen employees walking around, can't afford dental work because they don't have any insurance. You know, their teeth are rotting out of their head because they don't make enough money to survive, much less go get their teeth cleaned or go get their teeth fixed. They can't do that. Places like Lowe's, they offer benefits, right? They offer profit sharing. You can be fully vested in a place like this. They give you stock. You can buy stock in the company that you work at. They have benefits. They have a 401k. They have health insurance, right? So when I think, where's my money gonna go? My money's gonna go to the place that takes the best care of their employees, not the local mom and pop place who's, you know, I don't know. So when I get to know these people, when I've got family members that are down in San Antonio, sweating their life away in a Lowe's garden center, right? I take offense to the fact that these folks aren't local because they live in a house right over there. What are they if they're not local, right? So support local business. This is a local business. Wow, what a great interaction. I really enjoyed meeting this new management team. Sorry for going off on the tangent. If the tangent even makes it into the video, which it probably won't, but maybe it will. Maybe I'll have some courage and put it in there. Let's get out of here. The car's full, so I can't buy anything else anyway. All right, everybody. Well, I don't know how to do a clearance roundup anymore. Is it clockwise or counterclockwise? I can't remember. All right, everybody. This is the clearance roundup. And looks like we got 12, 13, 14, 15 of the New Guinea impatiens. And then, what do we got? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the perennial dianthus. I'm really excited to put these in the ground. They were originally $4 a piece. The manager gave me an additional 20% off, so it took it from $100 to $80, which is probably, I'm gonna be in the doghouse, but I won't build it. I'll have to buy a doghouse, and that's gonna cost more money. So maybe that can keep me out of the doghouse. Just take the financial argument. You don't wanna put me in a doghouse. We don't have one. I'll have to go buy one at Lowe's, and then I'm just gonna buy more plants. You guys have a good day. My name's Stuart Moore. This is Landscape Rescue, and thank you very much for letting me into your home talk about plants.